What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
He began speaking in a grave tone, acknowledging that his question might be perceived as rude.
I know this might be impolite of me.
Gazel started.
But does Lady Velgrynd agree with Sir Rimmeru's statement just now?
Gazel's unusually polite demeanor caught my attention. He even referred to Velgrynd as lady, which seemed out of character for a king. I observed the exchange, curious to see how it would unfold. To my surprise, Velgrynd responded with a serene smile.
I have no issue with it, Dwarven King. I recognize you as a highly intelligent individual, possessing superior leadership skills compared to Rimuru over there. Ridra has always spoken highly of you, desiring your inclusion in his ranks ever since you attained the title of Master of the Sword. That's how I came to know about you, and I certainly do not hold any dislike towards you. So, please don't be so tense. Let's relax and engage with one another.
Velgrynd calmly replied.
Yes, my lady, but as a true dragon, the strongest presence and the guardian deity of the Empire, can you truly express such sentiments in public?
Gazel expressed his concern, his voice filled with hesitation.
No need to worry about that. You are Rimuru's friend, right? If that's the case, there is no reason for me to interfere with you. As Rimuru just mentioned, I was defeated by him.
Velgrynd assured him. Well, that was surprising. I had anticipated Velgrynd to deny her defeat, similar to how Veldora had done. However, she openly admitted her defeat, which came as a shock not only to me but to everyone else present.
Lady Velgrynd was defeated?
One of the Imperials exclaimed in disbelief.
I can't believe it. The legend, the undefeated myth.
Another Imperial muttered, clearly shocked by the revelation. The Imperials, who had been raised in the lands ruled by Velgrynd, no longer restrained themselves and voiced their extreme distress.
What?
Are you serious? That godlike presence, an opponent that no ordinary mortal could ever hope to defeat. You're saying Rimuru managed to emerge victorious? It's hard to fathom, but if Velgrynd herself admits it, then it must be true, right?
Dolph struggled to articulate his thoughts, while Vaughn grappled with accepting this new reality. Meanwhile, Henrietta was the only one who observed their reactions, sporting a small self-satisfied smile.
He. How refreshing it is to know that I don't have to report this to anyone. If I were to tell others, they would surely think I've lost my mind.
She remarked, sounding somewhat impolite. However, as this seemed to be a matter concerning Dwargon, it wasn't the appropriate time to address such issues. Amidst the commotion, Jane spoke up, taking a step back and quietly observing Gazel, who appeared deeply immersed in troubled contemplation.
Gazel, and everyone else, please try to remain calm.
Jane interjected, her voice steady.
I'm not surprised in the least. The entire ordeal with the primals drained every ounce of surprise from my being, and witnessing the evolution ceremony taught me that surprise is a weakness.
Jane's words seemed to have a calming effect on the Dwargon entourage, as they bashfully regained their composure. On the other hand, our group responded in their own unique ways.
What, Sir Rimuru, you emerged victorious against Lady Velgrynd? Unbelievable. We must have another feast tonight, mustn't we?
Exclaimed Rigurd, seemingly eager to celebrate. It appeared that he was always ready for a party, regardless of the circumstances. I had assumed he never doubted my victory from the beginning.
Yeah, well, I had a feeling. I witnessed the entire battle, so.
Benimaru chimed in, implying that he had been secretly observing the battle. I was about to reprimand him for his actions when Shion interrupted.
Benimaru, what is the meaning of that? Don't tell me you, and only you, were the one witnessing Sir Rimmeru's gallant and awe-inspiring display?
Shion questioned, her tone filled with suspicion.
No, Shion, I was assigned to assess the state of our battle. I merely happened to catch a glimpse for a few moments.
Benimaru stammered, attempting to find a plausible excuse. However, he never excelled in that department. Meanwhile, Diablo remained silent, observing the unfolding scene with his usual enigmatic presence.
Oh, Shion, you missed out on quite a spectacle, didn't you? It's such a shame that you couldn't witness such a magnificent battle.
Diablo taunted, seemingly enjoying provoking her. I silently hoped that Shion wouldn't be provoked into an argument. Diablo had a knack for getting under people's skin. Even Testarossa seemed to sigh at the sight, recognizing the potential trouble. It was clear that crossing paths with Diablo was something to be avoided at all costs.
Quiet, please, everyone.
Testarossa interjected, her tone expressing her exasperation. However, she didn't forget her role as the mediator. Waiting for the room to settle down, she took the opportunity to regain control of the situation. If she had intervened a moment later, a heated argument might have erupted between Xian and Diablo. I silently commended her for handling the situation adeptly. Once the atmosphere had calmed down again, the summit continued. Testarossa gave me a signal to proceed, so I continued with my explanation.
So, after defeating Velgrynd, I captured her and subjected her to a thorough interrogation. During the process, I discovered certain inconsistencies in her story. It became apparent that Emperor Rudra wasn't who he claimed to be. Therefore, I kept Velgrynd under observation, which eventually led me to a terrifying revelation. To spare you the intricate details, it turned out that Velgrynd's mind was being controlled by none other than Michael, the will contained within the Emperor's skill.
Now we were getting to the exciting part. I was about to continue with a smile when I was interrupted once again.
Hold it.
Gazel interjected, raising another objection. It seemed like he couldn't hold his silence any longer.
Could you please hold off on the questions for now?
I tried to interject, but Gazel let out a heavy sigh, indicating that he needed to speak his mind.
Listen to me, Rimuru. I know I might be speaking out of turn, but I can no longer stay silent.
Gazel declared, his voice filled with determination.
No?
I responded, curious about his sudden outburst.
No. Why are you withholding the details? How can we accept that there exists a skill powerful enough to control Lady Velgrynd's mind among us? And what did you say about a will contained within the skill? I have never heard of such a thing. Jane, do you have any knowledge about this?
Gazel questioned, clearly struggling to contain his agitation.
This is unlike anything I've ever encountered before.
Jane, lost in her own thoughts, was slow to respond to his query. It was strange that nobody was objecting to Gazel's interruptions. Velgrynd seemed to be enjoying the situation, smiling as if nothing else mattered as long as she had Masayuki. On the other hand, the current emperor appeared to have lost interest in the proceedings, as if declaring to the world that this had nothing to do with him. I had a feeling that his bold presence would give Calgario and his people the wrong impression and enhance his reputation, not that he would ever notice. But let's set aside the topic of the current emperor for now. Benimaru and the others appeared genuinely curious as well. Although they hadn't pressed me on the matter before, I could sense their desire to know more. That might explain why Testarossa didn't intervene to stop Gazel, but realizing her mistake, she swiftly attempted to regain control as if nothing had happened.
Quiet, everyone, please. Regarding King Gazel's question.
Testarossa tried to steer the conversation back on track, recognizing the need to address the issue at hand. Her ability to react quickly was commendable, but it would be challenging to recover from this moment. However, I started to consider that perhaps it wouldn't be so bad to disclose the information to everyone.
All right, I will provide the details.
Are you sure, Sir Rimuru?
Benimaru questioned, concerned about the potential consequences.
Yeah, we are in the presence of national leaders in this meeting hall. I highly doubt they would leak any secrets, and even if they did, it wouldn't have significant repercussions.
I responded, expressing my confidence in the discretion of those present. That was true. Revealing the existence of Amanas wouldn't pose any immediate threat to me. The only thing I wanted to keep strictly confidential was anything related to Seal.
I would greatly appreciate that, Rimuru.
Gazel expressed his gratitude, bowing his head. It reminded me of our days as training partners, where he dropped the formal facade. This put me at ease, and I delved into the details without hesitation. I recounted the entire story, explaining how the ultimate skill Michael had gained sentience due to Rudra's exhaustion, transforming into the manas known as Michael. I also shared everything I knew about the skill's formidable capabilities.
An ultimate skill? And no unique level skills can stand against someone who possesses one.
Gazel remarked, astonished by the revelation.
Not exactly. The strength of skills can vary depending on the willpower of the wielder, so there are still some unique level skills that can surpass an ultimate skill. However, those are rare exceptions. Similarly, arts are direct reflections of the user's will, so they can also be effective against an ultimate skill. I believe your skill, King Gazel, falls into that category.
They would.
Gazel responded, intrigued by the notion.
And the same goes for magic. A magic spell is a combination of skill and art, so depending on the strength of your will, you could defeat an ultimate skill wielder with it. I believe you both understand what I'm referring to, Jiwoo and Bernie.
I added, acknowledging their familiarity with the concept. After losing to Diablo, I assumed Jiwoo and Bernie understood the gravity of the situation. Both of them nodded in a somewhat dispirited manner. Meanwhile, Diablo wore an unsettlingly blissful smile as he seemed to contemplate something that I was certain wouldn't bode well. I wanted to tell him to stop pondering, but if he was behaving himself, I supposed it wasn't an immediate concern. Xian, on the other hand, was muttering to herself, expressing a desire to acquire an ultimate skill of her own. She seemed to grasp that they were called ultimate for a reason. They were exceedingly difficult to obtain. However, I had an uncanny premonition that she might actually succeed in acquiring one. The thought unsettled me, so I decided to push it from my mind.
So, that pretty much sums it up. Michael possesses a unique ability that grants him complete control over individuals classified as the angelic type. That's why Velgrynd couldn't resist its influence and fell under its thrall without ever realizing it. I believe Lieutenant Kondu was also affected by this control. It was only shortly before his death that he was freed from its grasp, allowing him enough time to pass on his will to Carrera.
I concluded, providing the necessary details.
Kondu? That information-feeding monster? He, too?
It's difficult to believe, but I trust Lord Rimuru's judgment.
Oh, so then Sir Damrata.
Yes, I believe he was the first among us to realize that something was amiss with His Majesty the Emperor.
While there was some commotion on the Empire side, it wasn't significant enough to interrupt me. Although this would typically be discouraged, there was little point in suppressing it. I persevered in my explanation, ensuring nobody would raise the issue.
Now, we have also uncovered Michael's objective. It seeks to revive Veldanava, its creator and true master.
A fresh round of shouting erupted, though I refrained from explicitly identifying the source.
Having discovered that those individuals were under Michael's control, I have no intention of pursuing the higher-ranking officials of the Empire for war crimes or similar offenses. However, if they choose to persist in hostilities against us, that may change.
I paused and directed my attention towards Masayuki's group. Masayuki himself appeared completely uninterested, to the point where it was almost mesmerizing. Calgurio and Minutes, on the other hand, seemed to find the situation amusing, as they chuckled quietly. They had no reason to engage in a fight with me, and it was clear they had no chance of winning even if they did. In their position, I would probably react the same way. It seemed that they were all fine with the current situation.
But I assume that none of the Imperial representatives here wish to engage in hostilities, and we have already resolved our differences with Velgrynd. Michael was masquerading as Rudra, and now that he has vanished, the Empire will need a new leader, correct? That is part of the agenda for today's summit. Could the Empire provide their perspective on this matter?
That's it for this video, guys. Thank you for always watching my videos and supporting my channel. A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Chad Vota, Chris Guzman, Andre L. Hamilton, Adrian, Kumo, Sanketh Chelu, T. Bush, John L., JV, Thomas, J, Potate, Big Q. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.